Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on the video on the stream. It does really help out. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't done already, check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, completely free to join. You can chat with other traders over there, including myself, share ideas, share setups you're looking at if you want to. And of course, you can learn a little bit more about elevating traders if you are interested. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. Another day in the markets. Forex Sniper, what is up? Pound USD. I will go through Pound USD. I'll take a look at the DXY first. I'll go through Euro, then Pound. So it'll be one of the first, but I will definitely take a look at it for you. King Corn, what is up? Hope you're well. Will, what is up? As always, hope you're doing good. Manzondi, what is up? Hope you're well. Ahmed, good morning. Hope you're doing good. Isola, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing great. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well as well. So yeah, guys, we've had an interesting kind of past 12-ish hours in the market. It's a bit of movement, which as us retail traders, we can never not want. You know, the market moving is always a good thing. Of course, it's even better if it's in your favor, but at least it's moving. So we've seen some movement. Of course, we had Donald Trump coming to power, so we're seeing the market kind of fluctuate and be a bit more volatile because of that. There are some news events as well this week. The most I'm paying close attention to is definitely the yen, which I think is actually on Friday, so still got a bit of a while to go. Of course, the other news events, there's retail sales going on, but nothing crazy big apart from kind of Trump and the yen the Bank of Japan interest rate decision, which is on Friday, early Friday morning. So keeping a close eye on that. But we'll start with the dollar, which has seen a bit of movement. As you can see, the market had a pretty big dip to the downside on this particular chart. It looks like a big gap. But if you do look at other brokers, you can see we did have a really big move to the downside there. So the way I'm looking at the dollar at the moment is still very bullish, still expecting naturally more upside, but I'm looking how deep can this correction go. We've come into a really nice area where I do expect to see a bounce, and we already kind of have seen that bounce, to be honest. It happened as the market kind of opened up for the new day. So as the daily candle closed yesterday and the new daily candle opened, we saw price bounce off this area 107.6, and we're already looking pretty bullish. It was a really aggressive move to the downside there, really aggressive move. Of course, this is the area I was talking about yesterday. I said I was looking for the DXY to retrace because number one, the market is very, very corrected now, so you can see we're starting to tire. And number two, we've reached new highs that we haven't been trading for a while. So the market is definitely need for a pullback. Looking at all the other USD majors, they're all due a pullback as well. So now that we've had one, now it's up to dollar to say, okay, this pullback is enough. We're going to continue, or prices potentially might push down some more. At the moment, price is doing a pretty good job at holding on to that level of support. And I would expect more upside. From an intraday point of view, I would be careful as price approaches this area here, because this is where we had a bit of a consolidation, and that's where all that momentum came from. So should price sell off again, this is probably where you're looking for that to happen. So in fact, if you're on an intraday level, kind of like hourly time frame and below, I would say shorts on the DXY actually look pretty good. Price coming back into this area, I do think is an area where we could react. Now, I am still bullish longer term, but doesn't mean we can't still see a couple days of downside momentum as well. So I would suggest in the lower time frames, if you're looking for opportunities on the dollar, and of course we'll get to euro, pound, and all other USD corresponding markets in a moment. But for me, this still looks like a really nice place for a short. Lovely consolidation, a lot of momentum to the downside, and it looks like price is coming back for a retest. So should we see some reactions, I do think we can probably come back, retest this area. Maybe then we push up, or maybe we have a slightly deeper correction. But I would say that's a nice intraday opportunity to look at. So if we take the information into Euro USD, which of course did the exact opposite, really strong move to the upside. Price is now coming back into that same consolidation, which is more or less this area here, where price had that lovely, I say lovely, but it's not really lovely, lovely consolidation for a few days. before big moves to the upside. So again, naturally, I do expect price to have a bit of a bounce from here and see a reaction. But of course, overall, I'm still pretty bearish on this one on the high time frames. I was actually looking for euro to come up a little bit further. It didn't quite do that, or hasn't quite done it yet. I was talking about this area of support as a place for a short. Lined up very well with my 0.618 on the fib. Let's make sure we can see that. There we go. So as you can see, the 0.618 kind of just resting just below that level quite well. So I was hoping for a little bit more upside to test that area. I was looking for price to test that area actually when we had this move. Unfortunately for me, we didn't quite make it. Then I was looking for this move, and unfortunately for me, we didn't quite make it again. But like I said, we might still have that deeper correction and then sell off. So I'm not ruling out that opportunity just yet. So yeah, from an intraday level, I think this is a nice place for a buy still. Like I said, still very bearish on Euro USD overall. But from an intraday level, if we do have a bounce there for 1 or 2 days, that could be a really nice trade for the week as well. So there is that opportunity there for Euro. If we go over to pound USD, again, still very bearish on this one. I'm looking for a deeper correction. We did kind of see elements of that yesterday. Had a nice push to the upside with that push, with that bullish candle, but didn't quite have enough energy to come and test this low here. Just missed it by a few pips. I said that was the first level I'll start to look to short pound USD from. And if we break through that, I'm still looking at this area here at 1.25. So those are my two levels I'll look to short pound USD from. Like I said, still very bearish. The goal of pound USD for me anyway is to essentially find the next lower high and continue this bearish momentum. On the daily chart, we broke through a very strong counter trend line. And as long as price stays, you can't see that, there we go. As long as price stays below this counter trend line and doesn't show me any changing characteristics or any kind of bullish behavior, I will keep looking to short, expecting price to eventually come back to this low and then eventually this low here. So I do still see a lot more downside for pound USD in the near future. And that low there is not too far away. There we go. So yeah, expecting more downside for pound USD. This was the level looking for price to retest. Again, we still can hit that area. This might just be a more prolonged correction. This kind of looks like a big bear flag to me. Maybe form another higher low to push on and then get the move. I wouldn't be surprised if I whip out the fib from the high to the low. We have just about tagged the 50, but I would like for us to have that deeper correction, preferably test the 0.618 as well, and then see the rollover. Or should we be very bullish, then 1.25 looks just as good as well, if not even better. But yeah, that's kind of my take there for pound USD. Still expecting more downside, but would like to see some more upside initially. Dollar CAD was all over the place yesterday. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. This guy just all over the place, and that's the main reason why I tried to stay away from ranges, because you're going to get price action like this. Of course, you could get it anywhere, but more so in a range, it's kind of just price hitting one wall and then hitting another. And in terms of momentum or sustained momentum, you just won't get that in a range. Massive bearish candle there, didn't really amount to much. Market just stopped in a dime and reversed. Same thing here as well. Big bullish candle. It stopped, hasn't reversed as of yet. But again, you can see we're struggling to break the high. So the main focus with dollar CAD, as it's been for the past couple of weeks now, is waiting for price to clear support. I'm probably going to refine the level to here now. Originally, I was drawing the level of support here and defining these moves as fake outs. But because we've tested this area 3 times, that's going to be my new focus for the range. So yeah, equal resistance, equal highs that the resistance, equal lows that support. Market has been fluctuating very, very well between these two levels. Now it's up to price to commit in a direction. As I've been saying, still very bullish on dollar CAD. I still do have that higher time frame target on the weekly chart, which I'm expecting price to get to, which is, let me push that a little bit lower to connect that high there. So this is the level I'm expecting price to get to for dollar CAD, around 1.46. Test it once, massive rejection. Test it twice, massive rejection. Looking for us to get there a third time as well. So I still do see more upside there for dollar CAD. And as I said on my weekly analysis, should price give us a nice confident break of the range, I do think some pullbacks will look really good. and follow throughs back to that same level, or at least, if we create a new high, let's say here, for example, that could then be a really good target to aim for. But naturally, I would expect price to go and break through that high and go and tag at that weekly level there. So very, very bullish on dollar CAD. No breakout just yet. I said yesterday, it looks like we might be getting one, but we did not get that. Price came straight back down. So we need to see that commitment, and then we can see some follow through there for dollar CAD. In terms of Aussie dollar, another one which I'm expecting a deeper correction for, which again, it looks like we've got some signs of that happening, but hasn't really got going yet. In fact, let me go to the weekly chart. As you can see for Aussie dollar, we've taken out these weekly lows here. We've taken out these lows here as well. So it's been a very, very bearish past few weeks for Aussie dollar. And again, I'm looking for that correction for price to have a bit of a breather before continuing on its bearish journey. Massive bearish leg. Haven't really seen much upside, if any, really, in those past kind of 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. So we are due some upside. Doesn't mean we can't keep falling, of course. I'm not saying we have to go up before going down. But if you're looking for a bigger swing trade in Aussie dollar, if you're short at these prices, you're not really guaranteed much. Guarantee is not the right word. You're not necessarily looking for such a big move because the market's already stretched. So the best you're kind of looking for really is a push back to the low there, which is nothing wrong with that. You still get a decent trade there, but it just depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a trade for a day or two, then yeah, sure, you probably can get that for Aussie dollar. If you're looking for a trade that can hold for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, if things go really well, then you do want price to retrace at some point. So yeah, the level I'm still looking at for Aussie dollar is still this level here, which is 0.638. That's still the level I'm looking for price to get to. Yesterday we were very bullish. It looked like at one point we might break higher, but now prices come back into this high and it's starting to struggle again. And possibly we might just see another swing back to the low. So that could be the situation for Aussie dollar, but my plan still remains the same. Still looking for a correction into that area, another lower high, and again, another push to the downside. So that's still the plan there with Aussie dollar. And New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same thing as well. Looking for a correction. This one has come back into that high as well, rejecting it pretty well. We might see a continuation back to the lows from that area. So again, intraday or intra-week, that's not a bad trade idea. But because New Zealand dollar has been falling for quite a while, still very overextended, I am looking for that correction. And it would be brilliant if we can get moved back into 0.58 to retest that prior low, or come back and retest this low here. Either one would be very nice, because I know if I see sufficient rejection from that area, I can potentially hold that for quite a while if things go well, of course. I'm not saying 100% it's going to succeed, but if I do see the continuation confirmation I'm looking for, we could be holding that trade for quite a while if the trend does really continue. So again, for New Zealand dollar, still looking for that bigger correction. 0.578, 0.58 is the first area. Of course, if that doesn't hold, I'll look slightly higher up for that sell. But for now, it looks like we're kind of moving in this descending channel. Connect the lows there. Actually, let me make sure we can see that. And then if I take this across, kind of coming into the upper end of the channel, and price is doing a pretty good job at respecting it as well. So if we're going to keep that up, we might just continue back to the lows again, and might not get the bigger corrections just yet. It will happen eventually. The market doesn't keep falling forever, but it might not happen now necessarily. So yeah, New Zealand dollar looking pretty bearish. Nice rejection. Might see a nice swing to the downside. In terms of gold, gold was pretty bullish last time I checked. Yeah, it was pretty bullish. I don't know, has it broke through the high? Yeah, it did break through. Looks like it's trading above it. I wouldn't say confidently though. I need price to be a little bit more bullish than that, as I was speaking about yesterday. Before I do anticipate a nice break and retest of this area here, I do want to see price really confidently break through. Then I'll be happy to look for the corrections, and targets will then be back at the all-time highs, 27.90 more or less. So gold and bullish. It looks like we're actually going to get a bullish gold. Of course, let me not jinx that. We need to break through the resistance first, confidently, well. I would say, yes, we did get a breakout of that candle, but I want to see some continuation now to really be confident with that breakout. Right now, it's just one candle closure above. It's very easy for us to fake that and come straight back down. So I'm not going to get too excited about that. But we are seeing signs that gold is trying to break to the upside. So if that does persist, then we do see a bit more momentum there for the bulls. I will be looking at pullbacks, retest. Now that we're confidently above that level, there's a pretty good chance we're going to push back to the all-time high at 27.90 and probably make new all-time highs as well. So yeah, onwards and upwards for gold, but let's see that breakout happen first. If we do come back below, then we're back to square one, really. Silver, same situation as well. It looks like a bullish trend is starting to form very, very slowly with some higher highs and higher lows after we formed that really nice double bottom. Again, this is a market which I'm looking to buy as well, looking to try and take silver all the way back to the highs here at 34.86. That's still very much the plan there with silver. However, yeah, I'm just not a big fan of the structure at the moment. I'm looking for potentially the next wave. So if price can continue, then I'll look for the next pullback afterwards because we are a bit corrective now. I did say I'll keep an eye on the retest of this area, which hasn't happened yet, which still could happen and it's still a level I'll keep an eye on. But we are becoming a little bit corrected now. So I'm kind of hoping we can kind of break free of that, see some more bullish momentum, and then maybe I catch a retest of the high somewhere, or maybe the high there. And like I said, I'll still keep an eye on the retest of this level. But I would like to see a bit more follow through there for silver. But I am looking for buys. The goal is to keep this bullish structure alive. And as long as we are putting higher highs and higher lows, my plan is find the next higher low, buy it, and hopefully I can ride it at least back to this area here. And then maybe I call it a day with that position, then try and find a new trade to enter to see if I can take it back to the high here, because it would be pretty optimistic trying to find a buy here to hold all the way up there, with this big obstacle in a way as well, which could very much send us back down again. So I'm definitely well aware of that. So it might be a trade I take, number one, to get it to the high, and then number two, find some more re-entries to get it back to that high. So that's probably what we're looking at for silver there. But in terms of the bias, very bullish. In terms of the idea, very, very clear cut, looking for the retest of this area, or should price break the high again, and of course looking for the next retest for some more longs to take silver to the upside. So yeah, very bullish on gold, very bullish on silver. Expecting a lot more upside between those two markets. And of course, with USD overall, I'm still very bullish on that as well. And the dollar has had some nice retracement. So it's coming from an area where we might see price just continue back to highs and so on and so forth. But I would watch out for this consolidation intraday. I still think that's an area where price can react and maybe see some nice downside as well. So yeah, I would keep a close eye on that. Where was I? Antonio, did I say good afternoon to you? I'm not too sure. If I didn't, afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Dark Sean, good morning, good morning. Yes, they move on 30, crush all the hope I found. Got out quick. Yeah, it happens, my man. It happens. You've been a bit on a hot streak, to be fair, past a few days. So it's probably only right you have a little bit of a dip, which of course is natural. You're not going to be hitting winners all the time. We're going to have that dip in the equity curve as every trader, even the best of traders, will go through. So it's perfectly natural. But yeah, as long as you're kind of following your plan and taking the right trades, you can't be too upset about it. Will, what's up? Can you find myself a bit impatient with the JPY pairs? Yeah, I think it's because the JPY pairs, they kind of get that side of you, because the JPY pairs, if they do drop or if they do fly, they mean business. They're going to give you some big amount of pips. They're gonna be very, very impulsive. So I think the JPY pairs, especially, like if you miss a trade with them, you kind of like gutted, because it could be a very big winner. It could be a spectacular trade. Because with Euro USD, for example, even if you do miss the trade, it's never, well, I shouldn't say never, but most likely it's just going to give you a nice ordinary move, which you can probably find in any other market. But JPYs, especially the shorts, they could tank heavily, especially with the the Bank of Japan intervening. You don't know, you might catch 400 pips plus, and that could just be one day as well. So the JPYs can sometimes tempt you to do silly stuff. But yeah, I think if you're finding it difficult with that, just try and focus on your edge and your plan. And maybe even take some time off the markets as well, because you might be wrapped into a little bit of a loop, and that's what keeping you, staying impatient. So taking a day off or two can be nice to reset, come back, and stick into that plan again. Okay, so let me go through. Is that Dodge? Okay, I'll take a look. Gorish, no problem. Euro Yen, UJ, yeah, the yen pairs had a pretty big reaction overnight. Woke up this morning to some bearish momentum on the yen pairs, especially Euro Yen, which I was looking to sell. So I need to see what that one has to do today. Hopefully, might come up again and get me another sell entry. But really big bearish engulfing candle at like 2 a.m. I think, my time anyway. But yeah, I'll go through both of those. US 30 gold, we'll take a look. Oil's looking very interesting, so I want to look at that one as well. Antonio, what's up? Morning, hope you're well. Noticed 7 times in the past you say I'm bullish on dollar. Are you aware of the excuse? Cycles, like 150 pip, short on dollar CAD. Yes, there. I'm not really focused on the politics with the DXY, so no, not really. And yes, just because I say I'm bullish doesn't mean I'm expecting the market to consistently go up. I am fully aware that when I say I'm bullish, I'm expecting the general trend to be up, which does mean there will be pullbacks, there will be downside as well, and there will be downside to short as well. Just because I'm bullish doesn't mean the market won't be able to go down and won't be able to you won't be able to profit from moves to the downside. And of course, I could be wrong with my bias as well. In that case, I'll wait for signs that proves I'm in the wrong direction, and then I'll change my bias as well. So yeah, I'm not a fortune teller. So yeah, my bias is a generalization of the direction of the market, not to say that we would just continue in one direction without any pullback. So yeah. Anyway, let me go take a look at Dodge. What the? I've never seen that before in my life. Did you just see that? Or am I tripping? Let me look at it on a different broker. Yeah, I think that was just that broker being weird. Okay, that was weird. Anyway, let me look at Dodge. It threw me off a little bit. Okay, so yeah, with Dodge, things are looking a little bit bearish the past couple of days. I have to say, it's not looking brilliant, I must say. I mean, that move there, great, beautiful. And we did become a little bit corrective, which again, most of the time does end up in a bit of a drop to the downside. So that's natural, but I have to say the recovery is still looking pretty corrective to me. And I wonder, is this just a correction for this bearish leg? And that we could very much see a continuation to the downside. That could be the play there for Dodge, I'm not going to lie. So I would have to say for Dodge, I would favor another move to the downside. Now, the bigger move may still be to the upside. We might find their feet again and go on another big, explosive move to the upside. But the way we're moving is not really showing signs of that just yet. I would favor another push to probably take out this low here. And then we can start possibly discussing maybe another move to the upside. Maybe once price comes back to retest some of these highs on the left, around 0.22, 223, that could be the area which does send Dodge to the upside. But yeah, I would say I would expect a bit more downside there for Dodge, I'm not going to lie. This looks to me like a correction, a flag pattern, a bear flag pattern. So naturally expecting another drop, probably to take out these lows. And then once we start coming to these areas and maybe we see something like this, of course, it's difficult to predict a move like that. especially in crypto. But this could be an area where price starts to stabilize and maybe we do see some upside, even if it's not as big as that, even if it's something like this, just another lower high that forms before price pushes down, still an opportunity worthwhile to look to try and trade and capitalize on. So yeah, that's kind of really what I'll look at there for Dodge. Intraday, yeah, same thing. There might be some short-term buys as we approach here, but I do think price will break through. So I would watch out for that. But yeah, I would expect some downside there for Dodge. Good morning, Alex. Hope you're well. Don't know if I said good morning. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Forex Sniper? Antonio, take a look at oil. Yes, I will go through oil. Let me just take a look at Euro Yen. And then I'll go through oil, US 30, and gold. So yeah, Euro Yen, big reaction last night. I said I was looking to short this one. In actually the area it did have the reaction from. I said I was looking for price to pull back into this area and react, and we did see that reaction at 2 a.m. And I'm looking to see potentially if price can push up again, have another reaction. Doesn't have to be as aggressive, but just respect the high, and then that will be my entry. But the plan is I'm still expecting Euro Yen to keep falling, at least back to these lows. But again, I do have a higher time frame bias, which I do favor a lot more downside for Euro Yen in the long run, which we've gone over a million times. But just in case you weren't here, again, I'm still looking for this head and shoulder pattern to play out, this being the neckline. That is a horrendous drawing. Let me do that again. There we go. That being the neckline. And I'm expecting price to eventually crack through that and really see a bit of a reversal, because we are trading at some areas where, go to the monthly chart, we are trading at some areas where I do expect us to have a bit of a sell-off. As we approach the high here, price sold off, and I'm expecting something similar again. Maybe not as big, but at least the reaction. So yeah, with Euro Yen, very bearish, and we do have some nice bearish structure in the 4-hour chart, which is all I want to see. So as long as we keep up these lower highs and do not break through the high here, which is at 162.882, as long as we don't break through this high, I keep and maintain that bearish bias. And naturally, I would expect price to push back to the low there at 159 and break through that. So yeah, expecting more downside. It would be nice to get that double top there. Even you can probably, if we get that double top, you can probably scale down to like the 30-minute or the hourly chart, really refine the entry. So this could be a really decent risk to reward, even just back to the low there. But I would expect us eventually to push back to these lows and so on and so forth. So still expecting more downside for Euro Yen. Just unfortunately had that reaction. Again, whilst I was snoring, quite a lot of entries have happened whilst I've been sleeping recently. But that comes and goes, to be fair, from experience. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with Euro Yen. In terms of US 30, I haven't looked at this one since yesterday. Yeah, still very, very bullish. Oh, looks like we did have a bit of a reaction there. So that might have taken out some traders there, unfortunately. But I do fancy more upside in the fact that we do have that wick. Can actually use that to your advantage a little bit now, because this would have flushed out some traders. So if the market does persist, take out some highs again, I would say the next correction should be a very high probability opportunity to catch another higher low and continue that to the upside. Because you can imagine early buyers getting into the market, especially with stops underneath that low, all of those positions liquidated. And now if the trend does continue, kind of using that to your advantage for then the pullbacks, for then some more upside. So I think from an intraday point of view, US 30 looks really good. In terms of like a setup, I would wait for us to break through the highs again, just in case we don't push to the high, respect it, and then reverse, because we could do that. But if I see signs of price breaking the high breaking the high confidently, then the next pullback after that should be a really good opportunity. Of course, nothing's guaranteed, but it should be pretty high probability. And then expecting a bit of a trend to form, because now that we have broken structure, which was, if I go to the 4-hour chart, now that we have broken through this high here, which of course gave us that low, now that bearish structure is out the way, I do expect us to eventually push all the way back to the high there at 45K. So I'm very, very bullish with US 30, and I do still see a lot more upside. It looks like NAS and S&P could be following suit as well. But yeah, I like that reaction to the downside simply because it probably would have stopped out some earlier traders. So now we can jump in, hopefully with some newfound bullish momentum. Excuse me. So very, very bullish on US 30, looking for us to get back to the all-time highs. We've broken through the bearish structure. I do still see more upside there as well. And should we have a deeper correction, I did point this out yesterday. So if you are looking at intraday opportunities, say if you're looking for a bit more of a swing setup, then I did say a retest of that structure looks good. Whip out the fib. Let's say if we do make a new high there, hopefully we have the 50 lining up with that level pretty well. Then, of course, you've got some nice opportunities to take that to the high, so on and so forth. So, yeah, US 30, I like this one. I like this one a lot. Very much from a intraday point of view. If we go take a look at, was it gold? Okay, go take a look at gold. Then I'll go through oil and I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs. So as I said with gold, very bullish on this one. It looks like price is trying to break through this zone, this resistance level 27.20. So price can break through that and then give a nice retest of that level. I would expect price to push us back to that high there. So the all-time high at 27.90 and give us some new all-time highs as well. But of course, first things first, we do need to break through that high well. At the moment, yes, we've kind of just about closed above, but it's nothing I would say in a confident fashion, and nothing where I get excited to try and look for a retest quickly or try and look for breakouts. I need to see more evidence because we could very, very easily just close back inside that range in the next candle. And then, we're back at square one. So I like gold. It looks like it's trying to break to the upside. Let's wait for it to do that. And then hopefully you can find some nice pullbacks, retest the high. And of course, you got a lovely target there all the way back at the all-time high. So very, very bullish in gold, and that's really what I'm looking for. Should price break back inside this range, so back within that level, then sure, there might be some nice shorts to take advantage of. We're still at resistance, but that's not really the trade I'm after. So yeah, I want to see the breakout and I want to see some retest, and that's really where I'm at with gold. Okay, so we'll go through. We'll go through oil, and then I'll go through the indices. Not indices, sorry, the yen pairs. So oil. So yeah, oil's looking very bearish again. It looked like we've just had a big fake out. I said yesterday, if we do get price closing back below that area of confluence, which we did, I do think oil potentially can melt to the downside, and it looks like we might be seeing that in full flow. So with oil, we had these prior lower highs, one over there, second over there, third over there. And again, we're looking for that fourth for price to come back and take out these lows and possibly go and take out the lows there as well. So with oil, because we did break outside of this area of confluence initially, because I was looking for price to come back, respect that level, fire a few wicks and then reverse. Price actually closed above, so it looked like we were breaking above at one point, but now we're comfortably below. So to me, this looks like a big fake out, and it looks like price has now most likely printed its next lower high for a big sell to the downside back into this zone. So I do still see oil going through a pretty big bearish move. And yeah, if you're looking to get involved with oil, I'll just be focused on the shorts really. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, I mean, it would be nice to get the entry, kind of right at the top there, but it would be difficult to do that, especially with that big gap to the downside there as well. But I do expect more downside now for oil. So it depends what you're looking at. If you're looking at intraday level, there might be some break and retest opportunities on prior lows to look at. If you're looking for a bit of a swing, then you probably want to see price come back and retap that level so you can get your entry in that area. But it looks like oil's kind of already made its mind up and it's in full flow right now. So I do expect oil to keep falling. I do expect to see a pretty big move if we are going to continue this bearish structure here. It's horrendous. My drawing's been off the past couple days. Got a wobbly hand. But yeah, it looks like we're forming another one. So expecting something like that, probably even to break through the lows there as well. So yeah, very, very bearish in oil. As I said, I don't really see an opportunity to get in unless we come back to retest the same level. Or you can enter here, just going to have a pretty big stop loss if it's above that high, even above that zone. It's not too bad, to be honest. But yeah, just not ideal. So yeah, very, very bearish for oil, expecting a lot more downside for that one. I'm going to go through the indices. I keep saying indices. I'm going to go through the yen pairs. And then we'll take a look at the yen basket as well. Because the yen pairs are looking pretty interesting. I know someone requested dollar yen earlier, so let me start with that one. So dollar yen, I am still pretty bullish. I'm looking for a move to the upside, but it hasn't quite got to my area just yet. The level which I'm looking to buy USD JPY from is this area here at 154. Of course, we're very close, but not quite there. And I'm not going to jump into anything prematurely. Still need to wait for price to come into my area before I can let fly. But that is my level I'm looking to buy from. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, you can see we've got the 50 in that level as well. So it would be very nice if price can slowly push down a little bit more, react, and then give me the buy setup I'm looking at. If I expand to the daily chart, it's still a very bullish market, giving us higher highs and higher lows. We've had a really nice break and retest of that weekly level over here. So solid resistance. Price came back, used that as support, and I would expect a push back to the high there at 161. 0.5, 0.3. So naturally, still very bullish on dollar yen as long as we maintain these higher highs and higher lows. That is the direction I'm expecting price to trade in. So yeah, I just want to see price kind of sell off a little bit more. And then I can start looking for some longs and hopefully a trade at least back to the high. But again, if things go well, I will be trading stops. So I will leave positions to run and hopefully target the high up there at 162, 161. So yeah, dollar yen still very bullish. Looks like we're kind of bottoming out right now, but we're not really at any area of confluence for me, so I can't get involved. So I'm kind of hoping we kind of sell off a little bit further and then find some buys at that area, 154.5. In terms of pound yen, so yeah, pound yen bit of upside again yesterday. Again, we were fancying a little bit of a pullback. Price was looking very corrective, but it's had a bit of a reaction. I said yesterday that keep an eye on this area here because this is an area where we could form a lower high and push back down. And we've had a nice reaction there. Hasn't really formed the high just yet because, of course, we're nowhere near the lows, but it is a strong reaction, and we could just be correcting for price to keep falling. So I wouldn't overlook that just yet. But in terms of setup for pound yen, I would still say if you're trading intraday, focus on this area because that's the most reasonable area for some shorts. Because this is our previous lower high, which gave us that low. So as long as price can respect that region, I'm expecting a lower high to form. And we do have some critical support just underneath us, which is this area here as well. So in my book, I do fancy pound yen to keep falling, really. It's another yen pair. I'm pretty much bearish in all yen pairs, apart from dollar yen, which you just went through. So I'm pretty much bearish in all yen pairs, pound yen included. Although the only yen pairs I'm looking to short is actually euro yen and Swiss yen. And we'll get to Swiss in a second. But pound yen, I mean, I would look to short pound yen as well. It's just I want to see a really big pullback, and we're not quite there yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, there are other pairs I'm looking at. But yeah, pound yen looking for a move to the downside here, back into the lows. And I would probably just focus on this on a bit more of an intraday level. For a swing, you need price to have a much bigger pullback away from support, which hasn't happened yet. But from an intraday level, maybe a nice double top there. We might see a continuation, even if it's just back to the prior low here. That makes a lot of sense to me. And maybe we can go further than that. So very, very bearish in pound yen as well. If we're gonna sell off now, then maybe we've missed the boat because, of course, euro yen already had its reaction. Very bearish engulfing candle on that last 4-hour close or couple of 4-hour candle closes ago. We do have the Bank of Japan interest rate decision on Friday, so I'm kind of hoping I can get into a yen trade before that, because I'm kind of looking at that event as it might be the catalyst to really get the yen pairs on their way. I mean, it could be to the upside as well, but I've got a feeling that that event might just be the catalyst to really get the yen pairs, because they have been really corrective for a while. They haven't gone anywhere for a while. They've been pretty flat. So it needs kind of like a big event to really get the ball rolling. And I wonder, is the yen interest rate on Friday going to be that event? So I kind of want to be in a trade before that. Again, I'm not going to force myself into a trade, but if there's a trade, I'll 100% look to take it. If there isn't one, then of course there's only so much I can do. But yeah, do expect to see more downside. CAD had a nice break and retest. Yeah. So again, this all happened pretty much at the same time, around, was it 1, 2 a.m.? So that was last night. Price reacted, and then this reaction there, actually, that was at 1 a.m. Really nice reaction there to the downside and really aggressive move. So nice break and retest of that level. And I do expect CAD yen to keep falling back down to this low here as well. So I'm bearish on CAD yen too. And I still do see more downside for this one. Again, originally I was looking for price to push back into the high and double top. But ever since we broke through that counter trend line, that bias there has been put to bed. We've had a really nice break of the counter trend line, really nice break of support. And now I do expect price to keep falling. So yeah, CAD yen, more downsides. The market structure is still bearish as well. The idea is that as long as we can maintain that, I do expect us to keep falling. My accuracy is being in the bin. What's going on? Keep missing the highs. So as long as we maintain this structure, so now as long as we don't break through the high here, that is what's going to keep me bearish intraday at least. So expecting more of the same. In fact, it would be nice if price can have another retest of that area, then fall. That could be a really nice opportunity on like the hourly chart or 30-minute chart. But yeah, very, very bearish there for CAD yen as well. And in terms of targets, it's at least expecting price to push back that low at 105.76, but I do expect us to hit these lows here pretty soon as well. So again, expecting big moves for the yen pairs, expecting a lot more downside for the yen pairs longer term. In terms of CHF JPY, which was the second pair I was looking at quite a lot, second yen pair. Again, this one hasn't pulled back quite enough for me just yet. I was looking for a slightly deeper correction, which actually gives me a little bit of hope because the market hasn't quite seen that. I was looking for price to come a little bit deeper, hopefully test that low there and come back and retest. Where is it? This trend line here as well. So I was looking for price to stab into this area slightly higher up and then sell off. So if we can see that happen, maybe today, tomorrow, price does push up a little bit higher, stabs into around the 172 region. That's the area which I'm looking to sell from. And then, of course, targets right back into the same low, same as Euro Yen, same pattern as Euro Yen as well. Lower lows, lower highs, looking for another one for a drop. Euro Yen had a decent pullback, so I was more focused on that one yesterday. CHF JPY never really got going. But hey, maybe we do today or maybe we do tomorrow. So definitely going to keep an eye on that. Expecting a lot more downside for this one back into the lows. If I map out the lower highs, the double tops over there, lower high, lower high. So again, looking for the next one. As long as we don't break through this high, that's what keeps me bearish there for Swiss yen, and expecting a push back into this this region there. So yeah, very, very bearish on CHF JPY. I like the structure. It looks very neat and tidy. I like the momentum as well, seeing meaningful moves in the bearish leg as well. It's not like we're correctively falling. We're seeing commitment, intention with these bearish moves. So yeah, really looking to short the market. I don't know, maybe it might sell off from here. It could do. But hasn't quite ticked my boxes yet. So I do want to see a bit more upside before I do pull the trigger. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, I'm pretty sure these guys are still within their ranges. Yeah, so not really interested with these guys at all. As I said, until they kind of break out of that range, I'm not really looking to do anything. I am bearish. I have a pretty clear-cut bias of what I'm expecting the market to do, which is something like this. Another break to the downside, and then eventually push back down to these lows. So that's what I'm expecting the market to do. Of course, in terms of finding entries, I need us to break out first. Then I can start looking for some retest of maybe that range or a low somewhere else. We'll see what the market gives us. But as long as price is inside this range here, there's nothing for me to do, because I would just kind of box that off and call that no man's land. So I don't really want to be finding entries there. Of course, if you're looking to kind of try and play the low of the range, buy low, sell high, of course that makes a load of sense. But that's just not really what I'm looking to do. So yeah, Aussie yen, a lot of consolidation, and looks like it's still very much in the thick of it. In terms of New Zealand yen, this one I'm pretty sure same boat. Yeah, very much stuck in a range as well. And again, until we break out that range, there's nothing really for us to do. Eventually expecting to move back down to the wick low there as well in a similar fashion, looking for us to break out, pull back, retest the low of the range, or retest a low somewhere, and then hopefully you can find some opportunities off the back of that. But again, as long as price stays very corrective and stays consolidating, then it's just the pair I'm not focused on. I know my bias is just no opportunity to trade that bias. So yeah, not much of an update on those two currency pairs, but I am looking to sell them. And then I think, is that all of them? Pound, yen, Aussie. Yeah, that's all of them. And then we've got the JPY basket, which I believe had a bit of a move to the upside yesterday. Yeah, we had that reaction. Okay, not quite at that area. This is the level I said to look out for. Similar to kind of what Euro Yen did and almost what CHF JPY did, a bit of a correction. I said it would be nice if price was to come a little bit deeper into this area and then use that to buy to the upside. It looks like we kind of got about 90% of the way there and then had the reaction anyway. But that's a pretty bearish candle this morning. So maybe we push down one more time to get that move, which is kind of what I'm hoping for. Because if we do have that one more push down, that means another push up for Euro Yen, which might give us the double top up there for the sell. And it might mean another push to the upside for CHF JPY, which might give me the retest of my confidence is up here for the sell as well. So kind of want to see that move there for the JPY basket. My spelling's in the mud today as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting there. So as long as we don't break through this low, as long as we can respect this area and don't break through this low here, I'm looking for that continuation back to the high there at 6,800, we'll call it, and probably further as well. So yeah, very, very bullish on the yen basket, bearish on the yen pairs. Hopefully you can find some opportunities for it. What's up, John? Okay, pound CHF we'll take a look at as well. David, NAS 100 will take a look as well. Happy trading. If you drop that in an email to the Elevating Traders support email, if you go to the Elevating Traders website, or you can create a ticket on Discord. Either one, create a ticket on Discord, or if you drop us an email, I can reply to you. So yeah, just say what you said there, but just drop it in an email. But yeah, we'll go through pound CHF and NAS. Why is it always moving in zigzag? It's a choppy pair, Himanshu. It's a very choppy pair. The funny thing is, it's a choppy pair, but you don't have to trade it. So if it's stressing you out and you're not seeing the results you want to see on that pair, you can literally just stop trading it. A lot of trading is about doing what you do well and doing that even better. And whatever you don't do very well or whatever you do poorly, either stop doing it or try and improve it. And In that case, UNSD, it's not something you have control over in terms of the quality of the price action. So in that regard, you can't improve it. So the best thing would just be discard it. There will be pairs that trend better and see some really nice bullish and bearish structure. And if you can read that better and your setups fit that kind of um, condition better, then you just want to focus on that because there's profits to be made there. But I know exactly what you mean. UNSD is a very, very choppy market, and as someone who looks to trade UNSD, that I can tell you that there are spells where I trade UNSD quite a lot, and I take about 10 trades in 6 months, which is quite a lot for me. Not in general, but just on a specific pair. 10 trades in 6 months is quite a lot. And normally my trades are a bit more spread out than that. But like, for example, back in 2023, I think it was, 2023, really nice bullish structure. It's still pretty choppy as well, but you can see the market was trending to the upside pretty well. And the higher highs and higher lows were pretty easy to spot, or easier to spot, I should say. So there was some really nice buy opportunities back in 2023, and I did catch a couple of them. But then as we got into 2024, price became very, very choppy, and the conditions for that trend there have vanished, and now the market is just very sideways. So in this situation, you could be taking a lot of trades. In this situation, you kind of just stay out the market. So I would advise to you learn how to spot when the conditions are choppy and stay away, and learn to spot when the conditions are trending or whatever condition you're looking for, and that's when you take your trades. But yeah, it's a choppy pair in general. All you need to do is just go back and look at the price action throughout kind of the history. This is back in 2019, very choppy. This is back in 2014, very choppy. It's what the market does. So yeah, it's not fun, but the market does that. But equally so, the market does it a lot, but there will be periods where there's nice trends, nice momentum, and nice opportunity. And it's our job as traders to wait for that moment and then trade. And then when it's not that moment, don't trade, which is easier said than done, but that's what's going to give you the results you want to see. Anyway, let me go through the pairs before I forget. So, John, you said pound seat chef. So yeah, pound seat chef. This was another one that's in a range, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And by the way, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Also hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, and check out the Elevating Trades Discord channel. Completely free to join. Link to that in the description below and also at the top of the chat. If you're interested, find out a bit more about Elevating Traders, and of course, chat to us and chat with other traders as well. If you want to join the community, feel free to go and do so. But yeah, with pound CHF, it is a market which is kind of just raging, not raging, ranging, which is ranging quite a lot. So yeah, the way I'm looking at it right now is that price is testing the low of that range, and in fairness, it's actually looking like it's doing a very, very good job at respecting the low. We've had numerous wicks of price trying to break through. Price is trying to see a break of this support, but it keeps failing. So it looks to me that pound CHF is doing a very, very good job at respecting that low, which in turn means there's a good chance we do go through a bit of a pop to the upside. Now, will we see the full swing all the way back to the high? Maybe. But what there is a good chance of us seeing, which I spoke a bit about yesterday, is a push to the 50% of the range, which is always a nice target to have when you are looking to trade ranges. So all you do is just get your Fibonacci out, make sure you got the 0.5 there, measure your Fibonacci from the low to the top of the range, and that will give you the 50%. Roughly, doesn't have to be exact, but roughly 50% of the range. And that always is a pretty good target to hit, because sometimes price doesn't always make the full range swing. Sometimes it goes, halfway and then it reverses, or 3/4 of the way and then it reverses. Something like here. In fact, this is what kind of happened to me. I shorted up there. It was a really nice push to the downside. Didn't quite get to the low. Got about 3/4 of the way and then reversed against me. So, having that 50% target could be a great target to have to book some partials, or even just move your stop loss to break even so there's no risk on the table anymore. There's up to you how you want to manage it, but 50% is a great way to book profits, and then you can always leave the rest to run back to the high or to the low. So I would say pound CHF actually looks like a pretty good buy right now. In terms of range play, now long run pound CHF, I'm actually looking for a really big move to the downside, hopefully back into the lows here, which is 1.075. I'm looking at these highs, 1, 2. I'm looking at a third one, a really big third one, and hopefully a push back down to these lows eventually. But of course, for that to happen, I need price to break out the range firstly and start to give me a bit of a bearish trend to work with some momentum as well. So a long way away from that, but that is essentially what I'm looking at in the long run, which is why I'm not really interested about buying pound CHF. As I said, we're trading the range right now. We're respecting the low of the range very well. So I would say this is actually a decent buy. I would have targets at the 50 and then second targets back at the top of the range. I think that makes a load of sense. So yeah, pound CHF kind of looking for that bounce. I'll go through NAS 100 next. Risma, okay, I will go through Dodge for you, no problem. What's up, CS Integrated? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Motive Force, what is up? Analyze Bitcoin for scalping. Okay, wow, Bitcoin scalping. That is some hardcore stuff, but I will take a look at Bitcoin there for you. Motive Force, let me know which time frame you're looking at, so I can be a bit more help. You're trying to sculpt the 5 minute, 1 minute, 15 minute. Let me know. But anyway, NAS 100. Haven't looked at this one yet. Yes, so really nice wick to the downside yesterday. Again, similar to US 30, it looks like it probably would have faked a few traders out on the lower time frames. Either people looking to jump into sells as they see the momentum, or people who were buying earlier, which maybe had some stops below that low. Both of them would have met the same end, really. So as I said with US 30, same thing with the NAS. If price was to go and break through that high again, that'll tell me, okay, the bullish structure is still in full flow. The higher lows are still continuing. And I would be looking at another pullback, high low intraday, maybe a retest of the high, and then off we go back to the all-time highs, which is at 22,100. So that's really what I'm looking at for NAS. It looks like we've broken through that trend line. That's been put to bed. We haven't taken out the structure yet, but if we can do that, break the high, we'll probably take out structure with it as well. And then, of course, you really got the higher lows stacking up on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd be looking for that number 5, fifth one, and hopefully a continuation back to the high there at 22,100. So NAS 100 is looking very bullish to me. I like that wick to the downside because that was our trend line resistance where we were putting wicks to the upside. Price was respecting that area, but now we're respecting our support. And if you go and break through the high, and especially take out this high as well, that's clear evidence that the sellers aren't doing a good job at holding price to that area or forming a lower high. And if that trend on the hourly chart continues, the plan is to look for the next higher low, find some entries, and there's probably a pretty good chance we do get back to the all-time high and probably see new highs as well. So yeah, very, very bullish on NAS, and I do fancy a lot more upside there as well. I will go through Dodge next, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin. I guess we'll look at Ethereum as well, whilst we're on the topic. So Dodge, I actually had a look at Dodge this morning. No one really asked me to look at Dodge at all, but then I have two people that request Dodge in the same day. So yeah, Dogecoin, I do fancy a bit more downside for this one. It's not looking too good, to be honest. The way I'm looking at the market is that we had a lovely bullish leg to the upside. We became pretty corrective, had a really sharp reversal, in quotes. But now it looks to me that price is having a correction of that same move. So I'm not convinced about a push to the upside anymore. In fact, I am favoring another push to the downside, probably to take out that wick low there and maybe to come back and retest that prior high. And maybe from there, we see the continuation to the upside. We see the next bull leg. Of course, that's a bit of a bold statement. It's always difficult to predict, a move like this, but it could be an area, let's say we start to slow down, become a bit more corrective. We could see a bounce, whether it just forms another lower high to come back down or it continues. We'll see as price action develops. But this could be a nice place for a buy. For now, I do expect us to continue lower. As I drop to the 4-hour chart, I know we're coming into an area where, again, we could bounce and see a bit of a reaction, but I would expect us to break through and see some more downside. So I'm pretty bearish in Dodge, I must say. I do think a move to the downside is pretty likely. Take out those lows at 0.26 and probably push back to the high there at 0.223. So yeah, not looking good in the world of Dodge, I must say. Motive, okay, BTC we'll take a look at. What's up, Last MB? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. So Motive, you're looking for scalps for Bitcoin in the 5 and 1 minute time frame. Let's see what is cooking. Okay. So of course let me just start on the 4-hour chart just so I know what I'm looking at in the higher time frames. So we made a new all-time high yesterday, but it didn't last too long, which is not a great sign, I must say, for Bitcoin. I said yesterday, let's see how we create the new all-time high, whether we show a lot of momentum and keep that momentum going, or we kind of just spike the high and become corrective and fall. In this case, we spiked the high and just shot straight back down. But even if we do go and break the high again, probably going to remain corrective, which normally does mean something like this is going to follow pretty soon. So it's not looking good for Bitcoin. Yes, I would say the market's still bullish, but for how long? For how long are we still bullish? Anyway, let me drop back to the 5 minute chart. So in terms of 5 minutes, I would say it looks like we are starting to break out of this channel here. So we had successive lower highs, but now the market looks like it's breaking that structure, starting to take out some highs now. So this tells me that probably we're going to get ready for a bit of a move to the upside here. I'll probably watch out as we come back to some of these areas there. That's probably where we could head to before maybe we do see another big rejection again. Start around 105,900, 106K. But I like the buys there on the way up. But again, that's a bit more of a swing trade for the 5 minute. Because I would say look for a bit of a correction and then a buy. But I suppose that's a bit bigger than scalp, isn't it? So yeah, I would say probably you would be looking for sells for a bit more of a reaction. I do think the bigger move on the 5 minutes to the upside. But in terms of a scalp, you might be able to catch a small sell, maybe as we approach the next swing high, which would be this one here, 103.6. We might see a smaller reaction to the downside in terms of a pullback before moving to the upside, and that could be the scalp that you're after. But yeah, I'm kind of looking for us to push back to 106K. So I would say if you could wait for a pullback and then try and find some buys on the way up, that would be nice. Of course, don't have to target all the way up there, but at least you've got some structure in your favor. You've got the low here, you've got a higher low. Now price is creating a higher high. Then you're looking for the next higher low in that sequence. That could be a really nice trade there to take, which you can obviously hold. If you do scalp, you can lock in most of your gains and leave some to run just in case the market does fly. I think we do have a pretty good chance of getting to 106K there. So yeah, that's kind of really what I'll be looking at for Bitcoin on the lower time frames. But yeah, on the higher time frames, yes, still bullish, but not looking good, losing momentum. Maybe a sign of price starting to turn around. Maybe not instantly. We probably will still make new highs and still push on. I'm not saying we're going to drop now, but I do think price might do something like this for a while. Hit some new all-time highs a few times probably, but because we do it correctively, it doesn't normally sustain long, and something like that might happen. So watch out for that. But of course, we'll talk more about that as price action continues. For now, let's just see if we can get back to the high again. I'll take a quick look at Ethereum whilst we're still on the topic. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. My day's doing well, thank you. Yeah, I hopped into a position on Aussie CAD, which I'll go over in a second. First, let me just go through Ethereum, then I'll go over that position. So Ethereum, I'm not actually a fan of Ethereum, to be honest. I said yesterday, it just reminds me of a big consolidation. So I'm kind of looking at Ethereum in a new light. This is the consolidation, and I'm kind of looking at this as just like a very awkward and big fake out of that same consolidation. We have got equal highs up here, equal lows roughly there as well, and this is just price, bleeding to the downside, consolidating for a while, then breaking up back inside the range with really nice momentum. But yeah, that to me just looks like a big fake out. So really for Ethereum, I would stay away from the market in terms of inside this area. Again, not to say you can't find a winning opportunity, but in terms of trending conditions, if that's the conditions you're looking for, you're not going to find prime conditions in this area. Above it or below it, maybe if price starts to break to the upside, then sure, you might find some really nice trending opportunities there. And that's kind of really what we're looking for. If we break through that high, then we're probably going to expect price to go and tick off the all-time high there for Ethereum at 48,880. So that's kind of really what I'll be looking at if I was looking to trade this one. But at the moment, kind of just dancing in that consolidation right now. And I must admit, I'm not a fan at all. We're forming some lower highs here. One over there, second there. That was a nice double top. I wonder, are we going to put another one in and sell off again? Maybe. But yeah, I must say I'm not a big fan of Ethereum's price action at all. Okay, so I'll go through my trade in Aussie CAD, and then I'll quickly go through NAS 100 for the bucket list. So as I said yesterday, I was looking at Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD for trades to short them back to the lows, both of them being very consistent with the lower lows and lower highs. As we can see, numerous lower highs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm looking for number 6 for the continuation back to the low. I do expect Aussie CAD to go a lot further. Honestly, I do think we can push back to this massive double bottom eventually because we have broken out of this counter trend line bullish structure. The market has been making higher highs and higher lows pretty well, but it looks to me that bullish structure has met its end. And now we're possibly getting ready for a bigger sell back to the low. So that's really what I'm looking. So I'm taking this trade in the spirit that I am targeting the low here, and I will look to secure gains, but I will look to also trail stops, hopefully to capitalize on a move like that as well. So it's an opportunity where if I can get to the lows, great. I'll look to lock in gains, but the real goal for Aussie CAD is to try and see if we can get it back to the lows there. And I feel like I'm in a good spot for that as well, because if price does break out of this channel to the upside, then maybe we're actually going to trend to the upside, and maybe my long-term bias was in the wrong direction anyway. So it's in a nice area for a short, and a long way to go should we see that move. But for now, at least looking for us just another swing for that channel, as we've done a million times before. Let's see if we can catch another one as well. So I am shorting Aussie CAD. I was also looking at New Zealand CAD as well, which of course a similar pair to Aussie CAD. Both kind of gave the same opportunity, but I liked Aussie CAD a little bit better because it had a slightly deeper correction into the channel. Because I was looking at this area here for New Zealand CAD, and you can see we just about wicked into it, which is great as well. But with New Zealand CAD, in terms of the longer trajectory of the market, I'm expecting a push back into the low here, which isn't as far. So if I do get into a short here for New Zealand CAD, that's all great. And if things play out, I can get it back into the low, and of course, maybe back into the daily low, which is just below. But the risk reward will not be as good as Aussie CAD. And since Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD do the same thing as well, I said I might as well just trade Aussie CAD, because if that does play out, I know that I'll be onto a really big winner should we see the continuation to the low there. So that's why I chose Aussie CAD over New Zealand CAD. But like I said, they're the same pair really. So it's just about picking one and seeing and managing the trade accordingly. But for now, shorts on that one. Let's see if they both can make a similar move. Yeah, Victor, you don't need to spam the chat, please. If you keep spamming, I will have to ban you, my man. Just say it once. I will see your message, and if I don't see your message, then you can do it again. But I understand you're just asking, but there's asking and there's spamming. Two different things, my friend. Anyway, I'll go through NAS 100 for the bucket list. We'll take a look at dollar yen. Chris. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good point. We do have CAD news in the afternoon, which could cause a bit of movement there for Aussie CAD and other CAD pairs as well. Hopefully, I'll get an entry after news. Okay. Yeah, it's in a nice area for it. I've got a pretty decent stop loss. It's not crazy big, but it's almost 50 pips. So that's a decent size for Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD doesn't have a lot of pips. So in terms of kind of the news, I think I've got enough room to stomach it. Of course, we don't know until afterwards. If I do get stopped out, then price gives me another entry signal, then I will look to re-enter, of course, as long as the opportunity is still valid. But I'm happy to get in before. But yeah, if price does wick me out and I do get another re-entry, I will look to re-enter. And of course, if price does break above and stay above, then I'll back off. But yeah, looking for some more downside on Aussie CAD and New Zealand CAD, but I chose this one instead. In terms of NAS 100, so this one actually looks pretty bullish. I do think we could probably see a lot more upside now for NAS. We do have these lower highs here, 1, 2, but it looks like market is starting to break through that. We've broken through the trend line already, and we've been pretty consistent with these high lows here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I'm looking at is number 5. But first, I would want to see price break the high and then look for some pullbacks, and then hopefully you can find a nice retest of that same area, another higher low, and hopefully a buy back into that level there. So very, very bullish on NAS. I like this kind of really aggressive sell to the downside there. In my eyes, it looks like it's kind of shaken a few people out of the market. And should we see price go and break the highs, I feel like that's what's going to be the key sign that says, okay, NAS is bullish now. We're breaking through the highs there on the left, because at that point, you're probably breaking structure there too. And yeah, the plan will be intraday, just looking for the pullbacks to keep buying and target the all-time highs there at 22,100, but probably further than that as well. So yeah, NAS 100, I do still see more upside for this one. Very, very bullish on this market. And I do think we will probably make new all-time highs pretty soon. In terms of dollar yen, so dollar yen, I'm looking at buying opportunities, but I do want to see price come slightly deeper before I do start looking for entries. The area I'm looking to buy from is 154. I know at the moment it does look like the market's finding support on this double bottom, and potentially price may just rocket to the upside from here, but it's not at my area of confluence. I'm not going to jump into a trade too soon. This is my area, which I said previously for the past like 3 weeks at least, I'm looking to buy dollar yen from. So I'm waiting for price to get there, and hopefully in the next few hours, couple of days, we can get to that level. Hopefully tag the 50 whilst we're there as well, and then I'll look to see if I can trade it back to the high, and then if everything goes very well, back to the high there on the left as well. Because to me, dollar yen is just still a bullish market. We're just seeing comfortable higher highs and higher lows. So my plan is to try and find the next higher low and then catch the next swing to the upside. So very, very straightforward things here with dollar yen. Like I said, it is looking pretty bullish at the moment, and I wonder, is price ready to push from here? It might be, but unfortunately, it will have to be without me if that is the case. Because yeah, my level is still just below it. Motive Force, I went through Bitcoin. If you go back like 5 minutes, I already went through Bitcoin on the 5 minute for you. How ironic, 5 minute, 5 minute. But yeah, I had a look at Bitcoin for you there. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with dollar yen. I will go through some crosses now, go through the rest of the CAD pairs. We'll go through some crosses as well. I'll take a look at some CHF pairs whilst we're at it. If there is a particular pair you do want to see my analysis to, just drop it down in the chat, and of course I will look at it. Uh, sure the CAD news can provide us with some kind of pullback, but if it fails, then that would be good for you. Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, it would be. Again, it is what it is. As a technical trader, the news, in my view, is a catalyst for the market to move. It may be in your favor, it may be against you, but in general, it's um, it's a catalyst to get the market moving. And as long as I take a trade that fits the edge, which I've tested, and I know that has the edge in the long run, as long as it fits the edge there, I'm taking the trade. Of course, there'll be times where the news will stop me out, and I'll have to look for re-entries if I do get one. And there'll be times where the news is in my favor and it, plummets in my direction or it flies in my direction. Both those situations will happen if you look to trade through news. But yeah, we'll see what the CAD news has today. All I have to do is just make sure I manage my trade accordingly, and if I need to get back into the market, I will get back in. But yeah, we'll see what the CAD news has this afternoon. Is NAS negatively correlated to the dollar? Yes. If the dollar is strong, we are going to see most of the time, not always. Again, correlation is a bit of a funny thing because sometimes the correlation is really high, sometimes the correlation is quite low, depending on like fundamentals. A lot of the time, is people in a state of fear or people's just happy to invest or take their money out of the market. So yes, they are negatively correlated. If the dollar's strong, typically speaking, NAS will be down, and of course, vice versa. What's up, Sets the Die? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. New Zealand CAD. Okay, I'll take a look at that one for you. No problem. Antonio, how long are you trading? Over 8 years now. It's been a minute. No problem, Victor. Yeah, okay. No problem. Thank you for apologizing. But yeah, just try not to spam and I will get to your chat. And if I don't get to your chat, if I don't see it, you can just drop the message again. But I will see it. Anyway, so what was I going to say? Was it New Zealand CAD? Yeah, New Zealand CAD. So Sets the Die, you said you're looking at New Zealand CAD, and I was as well, but I decided to short Aussie CAD instead. I mean, I could short them both, but they're pretty much the same pair, so I don't really have to do that because it's either both trades are going to work or both trades are going to fail. So yeah, there's no point in me jumping into both of them. But yeah, it's come back into a nice area. The way I'm looking at New Zealand CAD is that the market's been so consistent with these lower highs. 1, 2, 3 with that double top there, and it looks like it's forming number 4 there as well. So I do expect to see New Zealand CAD go for a bit of a sell-off back to the downside and probably take out these lows here on the daily chart as well, which is this daily support, because we broke through this counter trend line again a while ago with New Zealand CAD. And ever since we broke through that, I've been expecting price to get back to this support level. And in fairness, we almost did that a couple of weeks ago. We almost made a push back down to that low. But it looks like we've had one more pullback just before, which is good because it's like the market's giving us an opportunity to actually get into a trade for New Zealand CAD here. So I do actually fancy the sells from that level. But like I said, for other reasons, I did get into Aussie CAD instead. For risk to reward is the primary reason why I did. But yeah, it looks just as good. It came back into a nice area here, which is some prior support / consolidation, where we did consolidate for a few days before a really strong break. Price hasn't come back to revisit that yet until now. There's the first retest of that area, so expecting a reaction from that level regardless. We've got it. We came back to test the trend line as well. So it's a healthy correction altogether, and I believe probably back to the 0.618. Okay, not back to 0.618, close. We at least tagged the 50 though. So yeah, laser confidence in that area, rejected it pretty well, and really nice rejection on the 4-hour chart, really nice wicks, and nice shift of momentum in that last 4-hour candle. So in my view, it looks like the market is getting ready to sell. And you could probably have got a better entry if you entered on the hourly chart there as well. But yeah, New Zealand CAD, pretty bearish, expecting another leg to the downside. Um, bucket list. Yes, I do swing trade. Bearing with it, and it's been quite. Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on because some people don't like swing trading because of the timing in terms of how long you have to wait for entries, wait for the trade to play out, and then waiting for to get back into the market. So if you're a little bit more relaxed, a bit more steady, maybe you have other things going on outside of trading, other focuses, other commitments. Then swing trading can be a really nice way of trading because it's not too fast. Of course, depending on the time frames you're trading, not too slow as well. I trade in the 4 hour time frame. That's where I find my entries and exits. Um, and yeah, if you're okay waiting a few days for a trade and holding a trade for a few days, then swing trading can be a really nice method of trading. And you can broaden the markets you look at. I look at about 32 markets now um, to trade. So the way I look to go through them is I'm looking for the best setups on those pairs, and those are the setups I trade. And it means that I don't have to stick to one currency pair or a few currency pairs. I can look for different currency pairs. If Euro USD looks really good this week, it will have my attention. If New Zealand CAD looks really good this week, it will have my attention as well. And if New Zealand CAD looks horrendous, then I'm just going to stay away. So yeah, if you're finding good results with swing trading and you like the kind of timing of everything, because a lot of people big up swing trading, but when they actually get into it and they realize they have to wait a few days for a trade, a few days for a setup, a few days to hold a position, to your targets, sometimes they can get a bit restless, which is normal. If you haven't traded in a swing style before, everyone will experience that, but like I said, if you've got other commitments going along with it, um, you know, it's a really nice balance. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. But yeah, New Zealand CAD looking good to the downside. Okay, you're in shorts to target back down at the low. Nice. So yeah, essentially, I was looking to jump into New Zealand CAD as well. But like I said, I chose Aussie CAD over it. Again, not necessarily because it's a much better opportunity. It's just because the risk reward looks to me to be a lot greater should this play out back to the lows there, which is essentially my end goal for the trade. So yeah, that's why I chose this one. But yeah, very, very similar entry, very similar trade, both coming back into a channel, both giving some nice rejection at the high there, price support and resistance, really nice wicks down the 4 hour chart. So yeah, we're going to see how this goes. But yeah, very, very bearish on Aussie CAD. Hopefully we can see at least a swing back to the low there. And then, of course, if we can get to here, that'll be a bonus. But again, the idea with swing trading is that you position yourself um, in an area where you can potentially catch a big move. Um, and of course, sometimes you will see those big moves, sometimes you won't, and sometimes you'll hit stop losses. But with the positive risk reward, the winners will outweigh the losers, and that's how you stay profitable. 5 minute business for real. Not too sure what that means. 30-second chart. Wow. I can't handle the stress levels are massive. I bet 30 seconds is crazy. I mean, I've heard of people trading the second chart before, but I don't know a trader who trades in the second chart. I know a few on the 1 minute time frame, but second chart is heavy stuff. I'm not gonna lie, because every 30 seconds you get a new candle, new information. Especially if you're trading with a big account, you can't afford to make a mistake with that. Really, you can't afford to make a mistake at all, because yeah, if you enter the wrong lot size, it could be the difference between instantly and heavy drawdown. I could place a trade right now, and I can accidentally place it on the wrong pair. There's time for me to close that position and reopen it, and I would only take a very, very small loss. Um, But yeah, on the 30-second time frame, you have to be switched on 100%. But hey, other people like the intraday time frames and they perform really well there. So if that's the case, focus on that for you. I'm not really that type of person. It's a bit too high intensity for me. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Nanad? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Handled the oil loss well. Good man, good man. Again, not every trade's gonna be a winner. It's looking very, very bearish now, oil. You looking to get back into oil, looking to short it, looking to buy it, or you kind of leaving it alone? In my view, oil's looking very bearish. We might see a lot more downside for it. That means what that means. Okay. Right back at you, Anton. Okay, so we'll go through some crosses. Let me get through the CAD pairs though. So we had a look at Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD. Let me go take a look at Euro CAD and Pound CAD. So yeah, Euro CAD, really big wick to the upside yesterday. This one got really excited yesterday. It was very, very volatile, really big push to the upside. Again, I haven't been a fan of Euro CAD's price action for a while. I do not like how it moves. And again, every dog has its day. Sometimes the markets will be very healthy in terms of the trending, in terms of the conditions, and sometimes they won't be. EuroCAD since pretty much here, which is Jan 2023, to this date, which is Jan 2025. So for the past 2 years, price action has been very ugly. But over here, EuroCAD's price action was beautiful through 2021 to 2022. Yeah, throughout 2021, 2022, price action is beautiful. So, having an understanding of what you're looking for in the market and then being disciplined enough to trade it when it does come around and to stay out the market when it's not there is a vital part of trading as well. Because let's say if you had a trend following strategy and you trade it in these conditions, you would make some decent profits there. It's a trending market. The idea is to try and catch the lower highs. If you have a strategy built around that, you probably have caught some nice trades in these conditions. However, if you use the same strategy that you used here over here, I can pretty much guarantee you that your results will be not as good. If profitable, if you're profitable, you're probably lucky, because trending strategies don't perform well in choppy conditions, and vice versa. Choppy strategies, mean reversion strategies, don't perform well when the market is falling or the market is rising. So you have to know when to trade and when not to trade. And for the past couple of years, it hasn't been the best environment here for EuroCAD, and it still isn't right now. So I haven't really been looking to trade this one for a while. And until it improves, I'm not really interested. If it does start to break out and starts to trend, fantastic. I'll look to get involved and take trades. Of course, if it's the upside or the downside, doesn't really matter to me. But in the middle, no man's land. And again, if you're looking for choppy conditions and you got a mean reversion strategy, then these are the conditions you want to look for. I'm not saying trending is the only condition you can trade. Absolutely not. But if you do have a trend following strategy, then you want to be looking for trending conditions. But at the moment, price came back to the high, really nice rejection. Again, I wonder if we can sell off back to the low, but I would be very careful with this one because we do have that level just above us. And I wonder, is price wanting to push slightly higher to go test that area before another big reaction? If I was looking to short it, I would wait for price to push up a little bit higher because I know that I'm a better price, I can better stop loss. And if it does play out, better risk reward as well. So I would wait for price to push a little bit higher there for EuroCAD. But all in all, not a big fan of this pair. Pound CAD, however, I am a bit of a fan of because that has been trending pretty well. As you can see, really nice trend. So if it does reverse, hopefully we do form a bit of a nice counter trend to the downside as well, because I think we are due a bit of a pullback. I did talk about this one on the weekend. I did say this could be a nice place to short from, coming back to retest this level of support, now resistance. It did give us a really nice reaction there. It is another CAD pair as well. Looks like all the CAD pairs kind of did something similar, big wick to the upside and followed by a rejection. So with pound CAD, I do think there's a good chance for us to roll over back to the low. but there is a pretty strong support level, so I wouldn't necessarily bet on price breaking through until I see price breaking through. So I do think this is a nice place to short from. Really solid support, holding as resistance now, really big rejection. It'd be nice if you got a stop loss just above the wick there. And yeah, I would fancy us to have another run back to the low. But be careful because we could very much bounce and go right back up again. So yeah, pound CAD looks like an okay opportunity. I wouldn't say it's the best available, but I would rather short this than getting involved with EuroCAD. Way too choppy. Now it's waiting for opportunity to buy, but yesterday the market was crazy. Okay, yeah, the market was pretty volatile yesterday. It's a swing trade for me all day long. Okay, the low time frames don't work for me. Yeah, I know price is fractal, but all price action trading is on the high time frame. 1 hour entry for me minimum. Yeah, I agree. I think the lower you get, although yeah, price might be fractal, but it's not perfectly fractal, because if I was to look at the daily chart, price action is relatively consistent. If I was to look at a 5-minute chart, I can tell that there's different phases of the market, and same with the daily chart, there'll be different phases as well, but for different reasons. The 5-minute chart will fluctuate quite a lot due to session timing. Asian session, New York session, London session. There are no sessions for the daily chart. Of course, it will have its cycles and whatnot, but that's something a little bit different. So the way the 5-minute time frame isn't the same as the daily time frame. There's different elements at play, and news as well. News will impact the 5-minute chart heavily. You know, and an NFP candle can be a crazy move in the 5-minute chart, but you zoom out to like the daily or the weekly chart, you don't even know NFP happened. So there is fractal, but not perfectly. So there is that to take into consideration. And I think the higher the time frame, the more pure, if that's the right word, sounds a bit weird, but the more pure the price action is, because it's more truer to the bigger picture. Because the lower you go down, the more it gets, the more the price action kind of represents, those kind of shorter term transactions, whereas the bigger time frames, the monthly chart represents all the transactions that happen within that month. So it has a lot more weight, a lot more meaning to it than the 5-minute candle, which is just transactions within a 5-minute window, which doesn't hold that much weight. So yeah, price action is fractal, but not perfectly. High time frames will have a lot more weight to it. GJ 5-minute for today. Okay, I'll go take a look at that for you, Darker Sean. Bucket list and the CPI release today. Looking for a short, straight down, and then I'm done for the week. Okay, nice. Do you have a specific currency pair you're looking at, bucket list, with NZD, or is it just kind of any NZD pair which looks good? And then do you think CAD get CPI news today? Do you think, potentially? I mean, I'm short in New Zealand CAD, so it would be nice to have. I'm not New Zealand CAD. Sorry, I'm shorting Aussie CAD, so it would be nice for CAD to actually be strong off the back of the news, because that will help out my trade very well. The expected number is expected to be the same, so potentially expect CAD to be good, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I want it to be good. But even if it doesn't come out good, it might not be bearish, as in bearish where it's like a big move. It might just be like a smaller reaction. So even if it doesn't go my way, it might not be the worst thing in the world. But yeah, pure price action, the higher time frame is just more truer to what the overall market is doing. The higher time frames take into consideration much more information. One monthly candle takes into so much more information than one 5-minute candle. Therefore, the monthly candle is of more significance. Therefore, if you're looking at a candlestick in the monthly time frame, you pay it a lot more respect than a 5-minute candle. So from that regard, the higher time frames are a bit more pure, even though that sounds a bit weird, but you know what I mean. Forecast says minus 0.7. See my forecast. Which economic calendar are you looking at, Will? Which calendar, which website you're looking at? Because I've got a different value. And I'm looking at my FX book economic calendar. Let me look at FX Street. Yeah, it's the same on FX Street as well. What do you cause gold and oil to decouple? They basically move in the same direction now. Again, yeah, correlations. The funny thing with correlations is that things will correlate with each other, then start correlating again. Correlation is not 100% like automatic thing. So yeah, like for example, like gold and the dollar, which are most of the time inversely correlated, but due to certain global politics and fundamentals, gold and dollar can be positively correlated, which they kind of have been over the past couple of months or 3 months, no, a couple of months. They have been moving the same direction. So correlation isn't a definite thing, and it comes and goes, and sometimes it can be even flipped. So something positively can be negatively, and vice versa as well. So, and it's more due to the politics and how people are viewing that particular market and whether they're fearful or they want to put their money into things or take their money away from things and put in other things as well. So that will and just kind of geopolitics as well, which yeah, we'll play with the correlations over everything. So in terms of correlation, the correlation I look at the most is just the dollar with the USD majors, because that correlation doesn't really disappear. Like the DXY compared to Euro USD, pretty much 100% most of the time. So that is always a trustworthy correlation to go with, and other USD major pairs as well. And yeah, with sometimes other correlations, it comes and goes. So you have to be aware of the politics going on when you are addressing correlation, because there is a lot more to it than just okay, this goes up and this goes down. Anyway, let me go through GJ in the 5 minutes, and then I'll take a look. I mean, is there any other requests? I don't think so. If I've missed out a pair someone has recommended, just drop it down in the chat and I'll take a look at it. If not, I'll go through some of the crosses. Okay, so 5-minute chart, darker Sean. Alrighty then. So yeah, I've been looking for more downside for GJ. Okay, at the moment, time's looking very, very choppy right now. Kind of just slowly ascending right now. I do fancy price to eventually get back to the lows. I do expect us to get back to the lows here, which is 189.352. So I'm looking for price to get back there. But in terms of finding an opportunity, I would like to see a bit more of a trend form and some more momentum. So if you could do something like this afternoon, that'd be nice. Take out the lows there. Then I would say look for a correction for that, and then another lower high. Otherwise, we might sustain this correction, which is just awkward. No one wants to trade in that. Or we might possibly form another high low, reverse back to the highs here, then maybe have a sell from there, or maybe hit some higher prices and then sell. But if we can see a bit of a trend form, and this becomes the next lower high in the sequence and lower low, then there could be some nice shorts coming back to retest some structure. And then, hopefully we can swing it back to the low there or wherever you want to target. But I would be pretty bearish there for GJ. But right now, this looks like just the market having a bit of a pause right now, and possibly getting ready to see some continuation. And if we can see it, the next phase after is something I would like to, short the pullback of. And if, like I said, if we do find support here and price just continues and we eventually push up again, I'll start to look for some sells back at the high. We might go hit some higher prices first before the drop. But yeah, that's kind of my outlook on the 5-minute. But overall, I'm still very bearish for pound yen. So that's the bigger move I'm expecting at play. Shorts back into the low at 189.352, but eventually back to 188.5. Okay. Ends the USD. Okay, I'll have a look at that one. Yeah, I did have a look at ends the USD earlier. So New Zealand dollar, again, another pair which at the moment still looking pretty bearish. I am looking for a deeper pullback at some point for this one, but it's just been falling out the sky and might just keep falling. I do think in the long run, New Zealand dollar is likely to go and take out this wick low. So I do still see lower prices. In fact, I do expect us to take out this wick lower here as well. So I'm pretty bearish New Zealand dollar long run. However, because we've been falling for quite a while, we've had bearish week after bearish week, barely seen any move to the upside. We only had one bullish week, which was this candle here. That's more like a doji, but bullish candle here. But the rest are just bearish. And we're taking out some major lows here on the daily/weekly chart. So we are due a bit of a move to the upside for New Zealand dollar, even if it's just a smaller correction for price to continue falling. I do expect it to happen at some point. However, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, we're still kind of trading within this channel, and at this rate, we are still respecting prior highs, and it looks like we probably will get another swing to the downside. So with New Zealand dollar, I'm actually waiting for a bigger pullback, either to retest this level or that level, and those are the levels I'm looking to short from for, again, hopefully another swing back into the lows. But we might not see that happen if price just remains in this channel and we keep respecting the highs. So I'll be careful with New Zealand dollar, because if you do get short here, it looks good, but as soon as price comes back to the low, I'll start to be a bit careful, because I would expect us to bounce pretty soon after. But yeah, if you're waiting for the push, a much bigger pullback, a push back into 0.578 or 0.586, which are those levels support in daily chart, that might take a while, and there's a chance we might not even get there as well. So yeah, with New Zealand dollar still very bearish, expecting a lot more downside, but yeah, unfortunately no setup quite just yet. So need to stay patient there, but I do still see a lot more downside for New Zealand dollar long run, but I need that bigger pullback. Same for Aussie dollar as well. Need that bigger pullback too. All right, take care. Will, have a good one, my man. Take care. I hope you have a good day. We'll catch you tomorrow. If you guys have been enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content, finding it useful, and of course, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Because of course you'll be notified, so make sure you go do that. Nanad, target for Tesla 480. Do you think that now official ratio will go to all-time high? Possibly. Let me go have a look at Tesla. Yeah, it probably is going to push the all-time high. At the moment, there's a lot of momentum in the market, and with Elon Musk on the up, I think probably will see Tesla fly as well. So, however, looking at the market structure, it is in an area where I would be a little bit careful, as we have formed a high here, another lower high here, and this could be another one. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see a bit of a move like that. But again, in terms of the bigger move, yeah, I do think it's back to highs and then new all-time highs, maybe 500. That's a really big psychological level. Excuse me, that's a really big psychological level. You could see price drawn to that, to be honest. So yeah, I would agree back to highs there for Tesla. I do think price is likely to push there, but I would be a bit careful because we are forming these lower highs. And in terms of finding an entry for Tesla, I don't think now is the best time, because if we are going to form a lower high, this is the place I expect it to happen. So, yeah, Tesla, yes, bullish. I do think all-time highs and probably 500 with that big psychological level there. But it would be nice if Tesla was to have one more sell-off, maybe shake out some early buyers back into the low. And I feel like that'd be a really great place for a buy. Maybe even retest this range here on the left there. That would be really nice. But yeah, I would be very bullish on Tesla. I would be very bullish on Tesla. Dollar changed things up, not trading yesterday. I mean, I'm still pretty bearish on bullish, sorry, on USD. But yeah, very bearish move yesterday, and we might get a continuation of that today as well. I'd watch out for this consolidation. I wouldn't be surprised if price was to come and retest that and sell off a little bit. But the bigger move for me for gold, for the DXY for USD is still firmly to the upside. Again, the reason why I'm still so bullish on the dollar is that we've broken out of this 2-year range. You can see the price has been consolidating for a while. There's your highs, there's your lows. Price has finally broken that to the upside. So as long as we stay above that range, I am looking for us to eventually come back to the high there on the left at 113, 114. Of course, if price was to come back inside the range, so something like this was to happen, I would then change the bias, because at that point, this becomes a really big fake out, and I'll be looking at retest and lower highs for continuation back to the low end of the range. So it's very, very black and white right now with USD for me. If price stays above this level, 106.5, we'll call it. If price stays above 106.5, I'm bullish. Stays below, I'm bearish. Either which way, we've got a big swing to trade. If price was to come back inside the range, we're looking at a swing all the way back down to 100. If price holds the support, we're looking for a swing all the way back to 113. Either way, there's a big move to be had here for dollar. So that's why I'm really excited about the price action of 2025, because I do think we'll see some type of trend form. Even if it's a trend within this range, I think it should be a decent one. And if it's a trend here to go up, I think that should be a decent one. Hopefully something similar to what we got in 2022. There's some awful circles. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. So yeah, still very bullish on the dollar for now. So any move to the downside, I'm treating it as a pullback until we break through that 106.5 area. So for now, I do expect more upside, because it was such an aggressive sell-off yesterday. I wouldn't be too surprised if we were to have another sell and then maybe form a double bottom before pushing. But yeah, I still do expect the bigger move to be to the upside. No problem, Ninad. Happy to help. So yeah, that's really where I'm at with dollar. So looking at pairs like Euro USD, Pound USD, I am very, very bearish on these guys, looking for more downside. Euro, my area, which I said I wanted to short from, was this low here, around 1.048. If price got to there, that would be great. And then again, expecting a drop. Pound USD, the area I was expecting for price to get to was this level here at 1.236, 235. More or less just missed it yesterday. Again, I wouldn't write it off completely. We may still want to have that push to the upside today or tomorrow, so we might still see that move to the upside. But again, still looks pretty good. And if we have a slightly deeper correction, now look for that area up there, 1.25. But either which way, I'm looking at a really big sell there for pound USD as well. Okay, take care, Chris. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy your day as well. Have a good one. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, pound USD, that is where I'm at as well for that one. So 1.235, 1.25. Dollar CAD, if the breakout is smooth enough and is big enough, I will look for breaking retest of USD CAD as well. Lovely up move, a lot of momentum. Price has since been consolidated for quite a few days. So if we can see a breakout of that, a retest of the high of the range, that is where I'll be looking for my entries to take it back into the high of this resistance on the weekly chart, which is at 1.456. So back to that level there as well. So in my book, dollar CAD is looking really bullish. Just need a signal really to trade it. And a break of the high and a retest is what I'll be looking at. I would say those are the three pairs I'm interested in terms of the USD. Dollar CHF, not so much, because I'm pretty sure this is trading at some massive resistance on the weekly chart. So I kind of need price to break through that or start giving me some bearish structure if I'm looking to trade it. So in terms of buys, doesn't really make much sense right now. So yeah, if I'm looking for buys for dollar CHF, I need to see something like this happen. Then I'll start speaking about the longs. But we're a long way away from that. And Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar looks okay, but I prefer dollar CAD, euro, and pound. And of course, gold and silver, I'm still pretty bullish on both of them, but they haven't really broken out of their levels yet. Gold in particular, I need to see price give me a slightly more confident breakout of the high here. Then I'll be looking for retest, pullbacks, and hopefully a swing back into the high there as well. So that'll be the plan there for those USD pairs. Okay, yeah, and dollar yen, another USD pair, and a pair which I'm looking to buy, but I'm wanting to see a slightly deeper correction. This is where I'm looking to buy dollar yen from. Got some nice confidence there around 154. Got this zone here where price paused for a little bit. Really big move to the upside. Of course, you've got the 0.5 there with the fib as well, and just necessarily looking for the continuation of this trend. Low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Looking for the higher low and hopefully a continuation. Probably have some trendline confluence as well. Connecting the dots there as well. So that would be nice to tag that trend line there too. And then hopefully take it all the way back to the high there at 158.730. And if we're lucky, back to 161.475. But yeah, bullish on dollar yen. Just want to see a slightly deeper correction to get some entries and take it back to the upside. But yeah, for now, still pretty bullish on USD. But be careful because we might still have a deeper pullback. But yeah, guys, we haven't made it to the end of the stream. I will be live again tomorrow, as always. So if you have enjoyed the stream today, tune in tomorrow. I will be live again. I'm live every weekday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, say hi, have a chat, and we'll discuss everything about the charts. But if you guys have enjoyed it, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. And of course, hit the bell too so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you haven't checked out the Elevating Trades Discord channel, make sure you go and do that. Completely free to join. Link in the description below and also at the top of the chat. You can chat with other traders, include myself. I share ideas there. Other people share ideas. So you can chat about that if you're looking to join a community. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Leave a like on your way out. And yeah, guys, I'll chat to you tomorrow. Enjoy your day. And I'll see you all in the next one.